that army up, and can you actually add that pressure? It's very sustainable, and with these aura-style building Doombringers, MINESKI may just have that strength to fight through the sustain before you get something like a Spirit Vessel.
No, it's a good point. It's a really good point. I think that it's important that COL just make clever rotations with their Chen. I think that's easy because they have the global mobility. You know, you're going to be able to summon players to you, and you have a Spirit Breaker charge that can also connect. The big concern for me is the Wisp. If he has a free game on Raging Potato, it changes the status quo a bit because you're more easily able to play around the side lanes and force COL to just keep like wasting their energy, charging back and forth across the map.
He also appears to be like the bigger lifeline. We've seen Morphlings just rip apart yesterday, and this will probably be very much the same if he can get off to a half-decent start. So then I kind of beg the question, how much pressure can Complexity apply, and where should they apply it?
This is a good start. They want to be against the enemy tri-lane. Wisp, not the greatest laner. And Chen, Spirit Breaker Darkseer can apply a ton of harass in this lane. Wraith King bottom versus Doom is a trade. The main thing, to your point, you don't want to put Chen against Doom if you can help it. Because it's just so easy for KP to walk over, eat the creep, and remove the ability of the Chen to pressure. And it's better after the change where you can toggle whether or not you actually want that buff. Because previously, Chen could harass you with these really bad creeps. And you didn't want to eat them after you got like a Satyr. So you had to just tank it, whereas now you just eat it anyway, but keep the buff that you prefer.
How do you, actually, we look towards the Wraith King, like another hero who was very hotly contested during the first series of today. How's this matchup go? And itemization-wise, if Complexity are meant to be pushing earlier on, can Miracle go for the slow Midas, or should he be looking for the early armlet and fight?
Hang on, up top we got a little bit of aggression. Not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, it's just getting up in your face for the moment.
It was really weird. Sorry,
You're fine.
Chen was hiding, but KP was actually hiding on the right side and didn't show until Adam or 343 on the Chen had already teleported. So I don't know if he was trying to hide that or if this is the plan all along. But anyway, sorry, what was your question?
The question was the itemization from a Wraith King. Like, how does he actually try and start this? We may not even get to that point because Z-Freak and Tavo, they went straight back in again. Ninja Boogie got the perfect slow and the body blocks up. Z-Freak into the trees, hiding inside the fog of war, salves up quickly, gives just enough life to get away, combining with the stick charges. He moved into the trees, but no! He decided not to run back, trying to juke the vision of Ninja Boogie.
Yeah, really good block.
He juked nothing.
Yeah, Ninja Boogie set that up perfectly. Hit both of his swells and then with the strokes rather, and he had the nice body blocks to ensure the kill. I'm very surprised Complexity weren't backlaning. Why are they up in the face of 3 ranged heroes in the creep wave instead of just running behind tower and dragging it away?
And they're fighting inside the creep wave as well, which is only just making the Grimstroke even stronger. Like, it feels odd, and maybe now they try it, but can you still do this? Like, you got level 1 Iron Shells to work with, and no level 2s just yet. In fact, Raging Potatoes already cracked level 2 along with the Morphling, so the Wisp balls are now up.
Tri-lane versus dual lane, yet somehow MINESKI are getting that level up earlier. Now we got level 2, though, on the COL duo, but it's still just tough because now you can see the MINESKI start, but they broke these trees, right? So they can actually just pull the creep waves towards their own creeps and the dual lane of Complexity. So it's going to cause Tavo and Z-Freak a lot of issues. Mid lane, pretty much a wash, 10 versus 9-3. And then bottom, 343 helping to secure Miracle's free farm bottom. And we'll see. I think the Wraith King goes Midas for sure. I've liked the armlet build that I've been seeing. And I think in this game,
that's what I was saying. Like, if you're playing a faster tempo, is armlet better than Midas? But
I like armlet because you look at the MINESKI heroes, they have so much like low armor heroes. Like, sure, Morph's got a lot, but I'm just never a fan of rushing Radiance against Morphling because then you're just playing as the Wraith King now for a bit in the fights.
But if you don't get that early advantage, if you don't get the snowball in for your lineup, you've got a Doombringer who is going to like completely outscale everything that the Wraith King can offer, just because of the way Devour functions. Not to mention
Wraith King. How does he beat Rumi?
As I'm just thinking, like how much money like you can get into the Doombringer. Like he's just gonna like when it
Dude
comes
doesn't outscale Wraith King. What are
really?
you talking about?
You going for that?
No, Wraith King crushes Doom. He's low armor, and if you doom him, he's respawning. Obviously, he'll keep scaling because Devour, but it's more the Morph thing that you got to worry about here if you're Complexity. Because later on in the game, especially when you add the Grimstroke ultimate, double shotgun with the double Doom, like there's just nothing Cole's going to be able to do. TA specifically for Limp is more of this early mid-game tempo control. And Storm as well, arguably the best 25 talent in Dota. Just this whole vision advantage Complexity has will fade once MINESKI is able to kill them from the far corners of the map.
Looks like KP's being forced out of the bottom lane just a little bit, with Chen being back down there. And yes, I put too much pressure on KP. That's my bad. I looked to the Australian.
Yeah, it's typical bias, casters.
Yeah, my God. Yeah. Yeah. But God, what have you... I think I've just taken it from you. You're no longer biased. It's all...
I don't even know who I'm biased. I don't know if I'm biased for teams or against them. It changes constantly, and I'm never sure. I got DMs after doing the final between EG and Secret that it was a shame. Like, I was a terrible person because I obviously was rooting for Team X, and it was both teams. And, like, guys, I like both of them. I just like good Dota.
Mm-hmm.
Toby doesn't know what good Dota is, but I'm sure if he did, he'd be a fan as well.
Hey, that's the reason why I have co-casters.
Yeah, a bit slower. Oh, mid, though.
Yep, just before he's level 6, so there's no easy escape from him. Limp trying to get a little bit close, but Limp doesn't have that either. But 3-4-3, in through the rear, Raging Potato will arrive in time, getting Moon into the trees and getting that regeneration in. Doesn't matter if he's maxed. Ninjabugi going to get his own swell up, looking for 3-4-3. All the stun into Z-Freak. That'll also work, but Z-Freak ready to charge away. Slowed up, but he'll get his movement speed back as the stroke fades, and they actually just change targets over towards KP with a Hellfire Blast, pushing him up and down and away from the bounty runes. They can keep the pressure up, especially when Z-Freak's able to get the RNG in.
Yeah, very weird to me. Adam didn't use Tornado under tower, even though it's like got a slow attached along with a lot of damage. Instead, he just kind of ran in a circle, got one auto attack off on the Storm. It would have also been able to cancel the salve regen on Raging Potato more efficiently, but just strange. I like the dive, but I think it was just a bit early. You can see Storm rotating into jungle. This to be expected as TA gets higher levels. You don't want to be mid without 6. As TA hits 6, it's very dangerous, especially when you know Z-Freak and Adam are looking to dual roam.
It's that early pressure, though, you're talking about. Like, Complexity need to get in there. They need to add some pressure. At least they got all 4 bounty runes, so that's an upside. And here comes Z-Freak. Going to work with Tavo. Puts the Iron Shell on him. Raging Potato. Now he switched targets over towards the IO. Thanks to that extra bash, and they're going to pop him.
Yeah, that's some RNG right there, baby. One of these days you will get a bash. The charge now coming out into the Storm. He is level 6, however. Adam's in a lot of trouble here.
Moon doesn't have a lot of mana left, so yeah, you'll get the kill onto 3-4-3. Roshan canceling the charge forward from Z-Freak, and that will give just enough time to complete the TP.
Bash for a bash. The RNG gods making sure that we have a balanced game.
The bill always is paid.
Yeah. Bottom, though, you can see Miracle already with phase boots. Will be going into the Midas most likely with that extra glove of haste. And he is very formidable down here. Even though there's a Grimstroke and a Doom in his lane, you just can't threaten him. It's just the nature of the hero. Hits very hard. You have Chen in the vicinity, still with the aura creeps to be expected. You're playing against the Doom to your point, so he can't really harass with them. Just trying to farm and make rotations away from him. This Dire scan him out, though. They will know that he's moving in that vicinity, just trying to place some wards. Yeah,
this is that question mark. Like, where's Chen meant to have a real influence? Like, can you actually still run like jungle-style Chen and just play catch-up and have these great items? But then he's a 5-position Chen.
Yeah.
He's not a 4th position, so he shouldn't be taking that money anyway. Top lane, they're going to go. Tavo charging forward over. Once again, they're just trying to bait Raging Potato into a fight, but Morphling, he wants to kill. Tavo, thanks to the surge. Even with the nerf, he has enough movement speed to get back out.
Z-Freak does not have the Iron Shell anymore, so he's going to just TP out. Yep, this is how you want to keep playing the Spirit Breaker. Just always using the charge, trying to get aggressive, and moving around the map. You don't want your predictable movements. The charge angles.
They also don't see it coming. There's 3 observer walls that got planted down. So MINESKI don't have any early detection, and Complexity are able to watch if they do try and gain some. That KP being charged, Hellfire Blast comes out, and Z-Freak, he's looking for the follow-up right underneath the tower. KP's got a lot of life. Grimstroke is there. He's going to actually let out the swell. So Doombringer, if they want to stay on top of him, they can try, but it won't work.
Yep, that's the thing. There's just so much ability from MINESKI. They run away. They're not connecting with the charges in time to find the kills. That's just because MINESKI are playing defensively once they recognize that Z-Freak's looking to make that move. Top tower. It's one of the downsides about Darkseer versus Morph. You hit this phase where you just can't threaten the hero anymore, and he ignores your harass, especially with the sustain of a Morbid Mask and the Friendly Wisp.
Yeah, how do you actually keep an Iron Shell on the lane to push it back? Like, I don't think we've seen that creep wave underneath the Tier 1 tower in a while, and Z-Freak, well, with the Invis rune, he was hoping to go on to the IO. Instead, they'll have Morphling. But wait, Tambo and Z-Freak have started this every single time, so they're going for Invis burn. But they've been trying to bait Raging Potato out and then fight him, not go the Morph.
Yeah, so far I'd say this favors MINESKI, though. They just want to buy some time Ajit looking to free farm. That's the big win condition. Moon able to farm the jungle, no problem. And sure, TA is ahead in the net worth department, but Limp really just hasn't got too much of an edge. Done some damage to the mid tower, but you ideally want to be looking to kill it on the next catapult wave, and I don't see that happening. He does have a huge ancient stack, however. May look to take that soon.
Well, that injection of money, maybe momentum can be kicked up a little bit more, but 3 kills within the first 9 minutes, that's probably not exactly what MINESKI were looking for, but it doesn't swing either team's way heavily. Seer is returning to the top lane to try this again, but it feels futile. Yeah, and this is the thing about the MINESKI cores, where if you don't get the advantage in the lane phase, that's cool. Actually pulled him down with the Iron Shell and the Surgeon allowed Seer just to quickly move onto KP, and with the double stun, the 3-4-3 off as KP will fall in the off lane.
Yep, and those are the sorts of moves Complexity's got to look to make, right? Where he's Iron Shelled as he's being summoned in, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, what? And Doom's dead. If the charge is waited for, he's going to be in the safety of his tower. It's just not going to work that well. The charging forwards
contest. 10-minute bounty runes. Seer just pushes them back. Ninja Boogie will manage to grab one of the runes. There was a battle on top as well. Io and Morphling were trying to contest even under TA traps.
Nice job by Adam. Oh, that sentry just going to miss the ward to the top left. Tavo. They did a nice job top. They pushed the tower to just before deny range. Mid, Limp's going to attempt to kill this one. He took a huge ancient stack, and that's why his net worth is shot up to the top of the graph.
He's going straight into Blink, too.
Yeah. I like that decision because we talked about it. You're not going to win in the super late game as Complexity. You need to get map control in the mid game, and you can do that if you're able to abuse vision and pace and speed. The blink, the charges, the summons, you can do this very easily if you get these timings in conjunction, you find those early kills, take the tier 1s first. You can force Storm and Morphling into subpar farming patterns.
You got that Midas completed as well on Wraith. Took a little bit longer than you probably wanted, 10 minutes, and has the Radiance queued up. So we've locked in Miracle's trajectory.
And you can see Doom with the max Devour, not just for the NHN, but for the maximum scaling ability. Really good for KP. Plus, of course, the built-in 41 health regen when he's got 2 ticking. It's kind of ridiculous, and he just wants to sit down here bottom, make himself a target, because his other 2 cores, the Morph, the Storm, you're not threatened by Spirit Breaker charges whatsoever. There's no real way for Complexity to find kills on cores unless they're out of position or make a mistake. It's the supports they want to be hunting, and stuff to do that. That's why they're going to look to smoke up here as Limp just finishes his fresh blink. It's go time. You've got level 6 on the Chen, level 7 Spirit Breaker, maxed out Bash, which means that Nether Strike will be...
This timing feels a bit off though, because Io has relocate. He's managed to hit level 6 up on the top, so support
you don't want to fight though, Toby. You do not want to fight if you're MINESKI. It's very difficult. Unless you are initiating with a Grimstroke ult into a Doom, it's just not a possibility. They're going to find the Storm.
But if Moon can get the jump away, he should be okay. KP, like, he's going to be flagging something too. They're missing bottom, they're missing top. This feels a little too telegraphed, and Moon just stylishly showing it. And he's getting himself a regeneration rune as well.
And there's the complexity draft, where you want to make plays, but if you can't, you're hamstrung a bit. And I like the decision 3-for-3 just wants to kill the mid tower. You're gonna have a charge coming out bottom.
It's Ninja Boogie.
They're just gonna look to walk away here, it appears, but no, Ninja Boogie.
KP's nearby. He's actually gonna consume the Hell Bear, and Ninja Boogie in a little bit too deep. Can he actually learn anything? Relocate is on the way, but Ninja Boogie already died. Quick silence, but now the damage. Miracle, he's got a secondary life, ready to use it. 7 seconds to the relocate, comes back. Now Storm Spirit, Moon jumping to this fight, and they get the kill on the Io. So Morphling is going to be stranded here, looking for his own fight. Seer, can they still kill him off? The Hand of God gives so much more life back. At least there is the Doom out at the moment on the TA, so she doesn't get any more refraction, no more bonus damage. So Ajit looking to actually change around and attack into Tavo, remove anything you possibly got. Waveform down, looking for another kill, and then finally is now unsilenced, but chased down KP right behind him. The damage output is ridiculous from the Morphing. A triple kill for Ajit.
And that's the downside of this blink first max melt from Limp. Like, Ajit just crushed that fight. He did almost all of the damage. Well, how much was he responsible for it? He did more damage than the rest of his team combined in that engagement, because you're able to get the refraction up, and then you're melt striking these heroes with incredibly low armor. Only 10 on the Wraith King, 12 on the Spirit Breaker, 11 on Darkseer, and 5 on Chen. So he's just shredding through them. And obviously, Morph already hits hard enough. That was without Doom, without the Soul Bind. I said MINESKI can't fight, but when it goes that well, you got to question maybe COL going for the wrong targets. They all end on Doom, but he was able to get it off on the TA. That prevents Limp from actually contributing, but he's still in range, so Morph can take him over. Feels like a 6-on-4.
Top. It's a wrap around the side, and it starts with the Soulbind. KP just moving forward, but 3-4-3 and Limp. They're just tanking through this, but it's buying time. Morphling will arrive. They'll get the slow. Limp into the trees. Refraction defensive is already gone. He's got a meld available, and here comes Tavo. Needs to help out. Relocate does arrive. Raging Potato just needs to buff up his supports or his core. Either one. 3-4-3 is the one being chased down underneath the tier 1 tower of the Dire side. Tavo at least can get the double kill in return. Maybe he can escape. Z-Freak returning with the charge back to the fight.
This Morph is doing so much damage. The only reason they're able to find those trade kills. But that's still great for MINESKI because Storm just farming this entire time. And if you look at it, Ajit, top of the net worth, almost at a Lincoln's. We're only near 15 minutes into the game. This is great because as we've seen, now KP, he's accelerating to your point. Max Devour, they're going to just continue to upgrade. And at a certain point, you get a Soulbind and a Doom, and Complexity cannot win fights any longer. Chen is meant to dominate the early game,
but this is what you're meant to look for whenever, like, it's any team that KP plays in. Storm Spirit jumping up, he's just looking for the rune. Ends up being one going the way of Miracle, the rest of MINESKI. But it's the way KP plays, and he's played this way in every single team he's in, where he plays as the real one. You think back at the days when he used to play the Naga Siren, where it's like, you know what, I'll build the Radiance, I'll do the split push. And I feel like when he gets on a hero like Doom, it's exactly the same type of thing. And he is able to outscale almost anyone on complexity because it's just the nature of the hero. And now he's got himself a Crimson Guard. Hey,
it's true to an extent.
It was my point, at least.
I'd agree. Anyone on
logic.
Complexity might be a bit of an overstatement because of the Wraith King, but I do agree, and conceptually it gives MINESKI's draft like that ultimate late game dominance, especially after the changes to Roshan. You get the Refresher Shard perhaps on that third. You have a Grimstroke. If you delete 2 COL heroes and then you have a Storm and a Morph, how do you lose the late game? You know, it just gets to a point where if you examine these drafts at 30 minutes and think, okay, if both teams cast all their spells, who wins? MINESKI does in a landslide. And it's just so difficult for Complexity because they're low-ish on disables. It's mostly just that Spirit Breaker. Tough to take down these elusive heroes such as Morph and Storm that can just avoid your disable entirely.
Yeah. Especially if you've got like Lincoln's, like, what your long range charge, like there's no more.
It's Wraith King stun, like there's not much you have to cancel it out.
Yeah, there's no chain stunning, and then he can potentially, as he said, like steal refraction from TA, and then you've got to get through the shield bubbles first, and then the Lincolns as well. It's just very, very problematic for MINESKI about how they target a hero at the beginning, because you want to go IO, right? Like you have to remove the IO from the field. And maybe that's the easier target and the reason why we're seeing the blink over on TA. But can you get anybody else?
Yeah, the problem is Complexity are trying to hit and run, but at the moment the car isn't starting. And it's not... I just don't see them winning a game centered around trying to accelerate. Their next play, though, like it's not like they're out of it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they need to get Roche, and they need to try and have some sort of objective go down. There's a Doom.
Coming up towards the top. Doom is already out over on Darkseer. KP was the one that started this, and he may be the one to finish it. No, of course he won't. You have the adaptive strike from Ajit, and that'll be another kill. And that 4 in total for the Morphling.
I like the build on KP. Just phase into Crimson Guard. Look at Complexity's lineup, right? Outside of the Darkseer Ion Shell, almost 0 magical damage. You can reduce the TA and the Wraith King.
I don't think he wants to be there. You got the Eye on the Morphling coming up behind him. Moon just jumps straight over the top. You got the Vortex. He's trying to charge himself away with the extra movement speed from the phase boots, and the Helicopter still not enough to keep Z-Freak alive. Cows don't work well in water. And then they're going to go for the Chen army as well. The entire thing gets destroyed.
It's about the item synergies, right? You've got Midas Radiance on Miracle, but Limp's rushing Blink. So at what point were they looking to
fight?
Yeah, it just feels like they were a bit desynced in terms of how they wanted to win this game. Right now, MINESKI punishing. A bit of a lag spike, yeah, felt that too. Looks like we should be fine now. But it just gets easier for MINESKI to play this game. And Cole, you need to get Roche. That's got to be your objective here. You've got Wraith King. You're going to have a Desto soon on TA. You need to get it ASAP because you're winning the game. You get a bit of an edge with the Roche, sure. But if you want to win the game, it's when you pick up the third one, the second one. And
so you need to start the timer.
Exactly.
That's a hard ask, man. MINESKI have a lot of ways to jump inside the pit and cause chaos. At least they don't have a big AoE ulti, but if you've got 2 heroes, they're gonna get bound together by Grimstroke, and you've got range checking of MINESKI from both the supports.
And just Tavo's game right now is just not feeling good. Only near 6K net worth, but it's behind. And sure, the supports of Complexity are doing all right, but so are those in MINESKI. And they're not able, if you look at the vision, right? No traps, no wards on MINESKI's side of the jungle. That was a key component of their victory, and it's just not something they've been able to get done. And they have to try and get aggressive on the map, slow down MINESKI's pace, and just ability to outfarm. We can see even in the stagnant game, it was 3K after the tower died. Now all of a sudden MINESKI 4K ahead. They're farming faster. It's just the nature of the lineup.
They're prepping ZFreak. Okay, he hits hard. He's going to go back for the Nether Strike. Moon needs to jump right now. The fact interrupts just long enough, and ZFreak secures it with the 17.
That was a huge kill. 2K gold swing off of it.
520 gold in for ZFreak, and that's going to help him actually finish up the Spirit Vessel, because he was having to go the hard road and buy this up.
And COL, they're getting to a point. Their team fight's formidable. They're going to have mech. They've got Vlad's, but there's a Grimstroke Doom here with the Blink. If they get the Soulbind off, it's a double Doom for sure.
As a Blink reveal too. Arcane Boots. Okay, Tavo, careful. And there's your first jump. ZFreak looking for the retreat back out again. Into the movement speed. Have they got a slow? They have anything? No, they don't.
But look at what MINESKI's doing. Look, IO Morphling, their bottom lane. No desire to engage, and they're going to control these two bottom bounty runes, whereas MINESKI, they can still posture around the one on top, because if you fight them, there's always the threat of the relocate, a Storm TP, and boom, they're 5.
Yep. Well, here's your challenge again. ZFreak wants to go in. He's got a lot of damage to give. Doesn't have the Nether Strike, however, so he's holding it back, and here's your Wraithfire Blast. A lot of players from Complexity. And they'll easily be able to take out the Tier 1 tower. Fortification will only delay them.
Mid lane, you see Limp, he's got the Deso, yep, right into
grouping
Roshan.
around Roshan.
They need to make this happen. And keep in mind, the damage output of Complexity is still high. The wall is huge. If you can get a Morph Illusion, all of a sudden Complexity gets spooky. They've got more auras, they've got more damage amplification, and the Wraith King TA right now will hit hard if a core makes a mistake.
KP instantly jumps in. Now Storm into the pit. Who's going to get the Aegis?
It's on the ground.
No one's picked it up just yet. Now it's in the hands of Lim. KP so low on life, tries to run himself back out with the Crimson Guard. Maybe he's got enough life for the TA trap. Back in, all into the wall that Arjit is fighting from inside the pit. I will die and Doom will buy back to keep this fight going on. Lim, he's able to be protected, keeping that Aegis Immortal in their hands, and also Moon is actually out of mana. He doesn't do much more now, and 3-4-3, if he's the only casualty of war, this is a great fight for Complexity.
Oh, for sure. It's because the Doom went off on the Wraith King. Not only was it a single usage, but it's on the worst hero to Doom. He's still got the Radiance ticking, and he just respawns after he finally goes down. I like the decision from MINESKI to try and take that engagement, but they needed better target selection, and because Ninja Boogie had already died, the big threat of the Double Doom is gone, so it's just not an ideal fight location.
And they keep the pressure up. You do not want to back off, so KP's the big target, and when I say big, I mean big. He's very hard to kill off, but he's still possible. 73 seconds, remember, he bought back after that fight. Well, here comes the rest of MINESKI. Over towards ZFreak, Storm, long jump, ZFreak charging out, actually bashes Moon on the retreat. The Inkswell will be wasted. Storm
getting a little
now
too aggressive here on MINESKI.
He's totally out of mana. ZFreak will run in. They get the soul bind out at least,
Doom
but
for
Ninja
50.
Boogie's the primary one being targeted. You'll probably lose the TA. No, they've actually broken free of the Dead Wife. Moving forward on a Raging Potato. He'll end up popping the waveform forward, but Refraction ends up protecting him. And in Complexity, they are charging through under the Tier 2 tower to kill a Fajit and put everybody but Storm into the grave. Questions shall be asked at this moment.
That's the kind of, like, they just gave COL a huge lead in the game, and that's the threat of the draft. They have so many auras. They've got the Ursa for the attack speed, the Vlads, the Greaves, and with the Radiance timing, like, the damage output of these two cores in conjunction is insane. What are you doing there? The Doom is dead with no buyback for 50 seconds, and you're chasing after a hero that has Aegis? They just lost a Rex.
Yep, Storm's trying to do something about it. Jumping in, Moon burning all that mana again just to try and slow things up, but it's happened. The top melee and range is gone. They won't push for anything more because they have to still claim the outer towers on the mid and the bot lane. But Complexity, it feels like they're now back in their timing zone.
Yep.
And MINESKI kind of gave them the loan to get there.
And now they just camp the jungle. Now you have this lead. Complexity can just constantly look for fights. MINESKI are no longer in a position to play this cat and mouse game. They should have continued to farm. Like, they didn't have the Scotty on Ajit finished. He switched it out for a Manta Rush now, but, you know, Lincoln's on a Morph and Storm with Kaya soon to have a Bloodstone. Like, these are not items that mean fight. Complexity had Blink Radiance, Blink Deso, and like they tasted blood, and you just swam at them. It just, woof. All right, Limp still with Aegis, going BKB next. Once he picks up that item, there will be nothing these MINESKI supports can do to survive the moment they get charged by Z-Freak, who, with that max Bulldoze, he has so much status resist. 70% bonus. He just charges through and is unstunnable as he sticks on one of these backliners. They're going to now smoke, try and catch MINESKI playing in their jungle.
The really funny thing is, though, we were sitting here saying MINESKI are in control because Complexity were behind in their item timing, behind in their levels, and behind in their presence. Raging Potato's dead.
Yep.
And they're instantly moving on. Look at Z-Freak. Surged up. He knows he can just keep going for different targets and getting Spirit Vessel charges. Ajit charges his way out. Nether Strike just out of range. They'll trigger the Lincoln Sphere from 343's Penitence, but the pressure is there to be applied to the Tier 1 tower. You don't need a creep wave for that.
Yep. And great job. And once you have a Shadow Blade on Z-Freak, it gets a lot harder for the Storm, really for anyone to play the game, because he's going to be able to stun them for 5 seconds out of nowhere. The Surge is moving him forwards at ludicrous speed. Not much MINESKI can do, because the one weakness of the draft, of course, not many methods of acquiring vision unless they're in a stable position in the game.
God.
They aren't anymore. And
Look
oh my
at him
God,
move. He's
dead.
down to half life with just only the first hit with Spirit Vessel. You know, there's no extra healing. Ajit comes forward as well, but now Limp looking for his own fight. Morphling, this is now his time to stand. And Storm Spirit jumps in deep, pulls back into the wall. Looking for the extra copy. Z-Freak jumping in, making sure Aya's caught out of it, but with the Soulbind and Ajit clipped up, he's in the right position because now from up here, he can just keep the attack going. Complexity can't reach him. They'll break the Aegis Immortal on TA. It only had a couple of seconds left anyway, and maybe with the waveform down, Ajit right on top of Limp. The charge actually gets secondary bash, but they're into the back lines, looking for the kill first over onto KP, then over towards Ajit, and these Spirit Vessels make it impossible for MINESKI to heal. An Ultra Kill for Miracle, and he wants to finish the set, but Storm is back at base. Instead, take the objective-based gaming. Tier 2s, Tier 3s. Storm's coming out again. Anyone going to grab?
Yeah, he glyphed it. No, he's just trying to kill the creep wave, but they glyphed the creeps, which means another Axe will most likely fall. They would have had them from the top lane anyway.
He's got no TP. He can get the 25-minute runes, but it looks like they're giving up on the bottom lane of Rax. Not enough people alive. This has escalated so quickly in just the last 5 minutes. Complexity have just got a stranglehold on MINESKI.
This is the scary part about the COL draft, where you make a couple mistakes.
Can he actually get away with this? He's looking to kill off Z-Freak. Z-Freak is insanely tanky, however. 2K, but it will be enough. Moon plays around him. A huge hit to get, but you've still lost your bottom lane of Rax, so it feels like just a Bloodstone charge. Yay, seems good.
Yeah, you're totally cool with that recall. And that's these drafts that threaten buildings. We saw it with Alliance yesterday. You can't make as many mistakes. You took one bad fight in this game, really, as MINESKI, and COL took a Rax and all of a sudden had a dominating lead. It just, that's how it goes when you have the structure damage of a Wraith King, of a Chen, of a TA. It's just too much to handle. MINESKI needed this game to last much longer, but took fights too early.
What happened? We see Miracle just bouncing around inside of his chair. Yeah, we're cool, everything's fine. Let's not worry about it. Let's just get back in the game. Only 2 side lane racks down. It's nice.
Yeah, it's Complexity's game now. They just have to execute, get the next Roche. BKB on the TA is active, and AC on Miracle. It's just a spooky amount of physical damage that they offer. You even have the extra Blightstone on 343. I love that. Just to give, now Medallion. Represents so much minus armor. 5 from Wraith King, 7 from Deso, 8 from Meld.
It just lets everybody stand so strong on the front lines. But if Miracle can be just that beast for Complexity, like, what is MINESKI meant to do? Moon jumps in. He tries to clean up the creep wave. Ajit will now also arrive. Wraithfire Blast actually managed to trigger quickly on the Lincoln Sphere, but Storm Spirit is the primary target. Z-Freak pushing him back. Lip will get the nuke, and the Dark Sea Wall comes down, instantly getting a copy of that Morphling, but they won't care when they get all the damage in the world. KP can't do anywhere near enough. Even if he does get the double Doom off, they're just staying the ground and fighting. So Storm Spirit into the back lines. Maybe now he can get some rebuttal into Limp, trying to kill off the Templar Assassin. The Doom is still doing the ticking. It's Raging Potato. Needs to get the extra life. Moon has to bow back out. He's out of mana and very low out of life. The Complexity, they've only lost the TA. They actually tanked through that entire initiation. They tanked through the double doom. They tanked through the combination of MINESKI, and they're still kicking.
You can see how if this game went differently, MINESKI would be in a position to take fights because the TA BKB goes down after the doom. Like, you negate a core's ability to do anything, but they're going straight for the win. He's just dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Was it? If Ragey Potato had a really good game, they'll be looking good. But now, silence over on Wraith King. He's still got Reincarnation, so even if MINESKI do bring him down, he'll just be straight back up again.
Yeah. 2-time Skeletons spawn Talon as well, so the push will be even scarier. Roche spawning in 2 seconds. That'll be Complexity's next move. There's no Doom anymore, so we can expect them to be able to do that almost for free. And love Wraith King as a hero concept, because once you get this strong, look how aggressive he can play. What are you going to do? He has Reincarnate even if he gets this kill.
Unless they can kill in a secondary time, but Tavo has arrived, Moon being charged in. Spirit Breaker! Z-Freak hits all three, and Ajit's in real trouble! He's down for the count, no buyback available, and this may just be the game. Storm's out for 100 seconds too. KP is the last man standing. He'll get one quick hit, but Miracle's good to fight.
He's going to get the slow.
Yeah, with the Reincarnation triggering, and Tavo keeps running forward. The blink is there. He moves to the east, trying to wrap around the back of the Ancient, but Complexity hot on the tail with the Wraith Fire Blast. KP knows he can't tank through this. Tavo is just trying to get the body block off, but KP will die with the extra crit. Oh boy, I think game one really does belong to Complexity. They just need to take mid lane now, and they got 70-second window while Storm is down to do it.
Yeah, it all starts the Roche fight and Complexity. They get the edge, and since then they've just taken the game. Every fight been decisive. Not much MINESKI can do in the way of team fight. If Complexity just walks into his 5 heroes with all these auras stacked up, all the minus armor, there's nothing you can do.
They're going to try and fight without the Storm Spirit. It's the only reason you have the buyback coming in from the Doombringer right now. But who's the primary target? Wraith King? He's not the one you're looking for. Protected by Lotus Orb. Miracle's already taken the range racks, and they're backing up.
Yep.
Look towards next Roshan, he's up and running.
And bounty runes as well have spawned. There's no need to do anything crazy if you're Complexity. The Wolf Creep now coming out. Really just want to take stock. You know, Cole understanding the draft. You look at the items, you look at what they've got. Wolf Creep, Greaves, a Vessel, an AC, Deso, Vlad's, Medallion, even a Lotus Orb for some counteracting of the... Really, like, I guess you throw it on whoever gets soulbound. Somebody's going to get doomed. Rather, Doom is going to doom himself.
Yeah.
And just excellent play. The Wolf representing 30% bonus damage is something OG popularized, but really everybody knows this. You know, damage amplification, stacking, plus minus armor equals
win.
DPS. And it's all about being on top of the meters. I learned that thanks to a different game that Rich could tell you about. And now it's just regroup. You got Aegis, you got Cheese, as you said. No rush, but Complexity, they just need one more fight.
Yeah. And MINESKI will give it to them, and they'll give it to them under their tier 4 towers. That's the only place they can take it. A smoke up. The pressure is coming from Complexity. But at this point, all Storm can do is try and cut the wave. Yeah. Burns a TP every time he does it too.
I forgot Divine Favor also is giving 20% heal increase. That counts lifesteal. That counts the Greaves, the Chen heal. So much sustain on Complexity. It was one of the changes in the C patch that came out just before. I also like Miracle. He keeps turning on and off his Radiance, hoping that Ajit's going to morph him with it down, and then it'll no longer be a tool for him to use.
Fun little piece.
Yeah.
And,
one of the most improved players of this season, in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. When Miracle first started playing for Complexity, I was like, Zach, really? Like, really? But 6 months later, he's, I think, become a very real part of the roster. That's why he's still on it, of course. But just a good player, and he's really embraced that hard one-position role that I think this patch requires you to play if you're going to play that carry role.
Well, he can be looking good, but it's the double damage and the full Daedalus over on the Templar Assassin that is probably going to make Limp the superstar of this next fight. It's plus 383 damage, if I saw correct. It's very, very high, so someone's going to get popped. And he's looking for his target, and it was mid. Lawfully's the primary target. They get soulbound together. KP jumps in pretty deep, but, well, doesn't matter when the Doom gets off once again. They just help reflect. Moon is back in. They bolt the back, but Moon is so little in life. He almost got hit by the side blades down as well, but GG is called. MINESKI will admit defeat as Complexity